You can pass configuration options to MySQL in several ways. You can do it in an option to a command, like if you were starting a server and wanted to skip grant tables. That would look like this: mysqld _ safe -- skip _ grant _ tables. Options can also be passed interactively while logged into the MySQL command line client. Lastly, they can be given through a configuration file. The configuration file is the most consistent method and the method of this video, but it is important to know that variables used in each of these scenarios is the same. It's just different in the way it's specified. Configuration files can be stored in different locations depending on their level in the hierarchy. There are global configuration files, server configuration files, and user configuration files. They get applied in that order, with the latter ones having the ability to override the previous ones if there are conflicting values. On the screen, I have the MySQL documentation page for option files, and it shows the locations where various configuration files are stored. Note that this does change on occasion, so keep an eye on the documentation. This is always a thing that gets people tripped up. Don't overthink this. You're putting a file in a location, a specific location. Don't pepper your directory with 15 of these things like I see sometimes. Then you have no clue which one is actually working. If you put one in the wrong directory on accident, go back, delete it so that you fix that and you don't have multiple copies running around. Make sure you're working off of one good copy that actually works. Here I'll show how to create a server-specific configuration file. First, I'll change my working directory into the installation directory. Then I'll use vim to open or create the file. This file has already been created, so let's examine it. I'll change one of the options here so that I can make a point about errors. I'll comment out the server ID so the next time we start the server, it will crash and log an error. I want to take you through the troubleshooting process. Now I'll stop the server, start the server, it errors out and dies. Then I'll go look at the error log file located in the data directory. Go to the end of the file and see the error listed. Now exit the error log, go back to the configuration file and fix it. Then start the server and all is well, hopefully. That's the way I want you to test your configuration file, one option at a time, then check that it starts. If not, look at the log file. If it does start, then we need to log in and check that the value is set properly. We do that with the following statement: show variables like, and then we do a pattern match just like you do in a where clause. Inside the quotes, do a %log%, and that will search for the variable matching the pattern, log. And it looks like our value is set correctly. Editing and checking the log files in this manner will help us ensure that our changes work. Now let's talk about the sections in a log file. The sections define how your options will apply. A MySQL D section, notice it's in square brackets, will apply to the MySQL D itself, whereas square brackets MySQL dump section applies only to the MySQL dump program. Using client in the square brackets will apply to all client programs, which can be good, but make sure it applies to all clients or else you will have problems. Let's go and create a user-specific configuration file. Where does it get located? Oh yeah, it must be in the user's home directory. Also note that it must have a period before the file name to make it a hidden file. Okay, now create and edit that file. Make sure it has a section for client and put your socket file in there so we don't have to keep typing it at the command line anymore. Save and exit, then try your MySQL command line tool without putting the -S option for the socket. It should have worked. Now let's talk about the options themselves. Since the options can be specified in different places, they take on a different format for different usage. It is a little confusing, but it is what it is. We have to get used to it. When looking at options on the documentation page, you'll notice that the options are given in command line format, which is the words separated by dashes. They also give the option name, which is the same except the words are separated with an underscore. The underscore separated format is the one used in the configuration files.